Alright, Marvel Rivals players, let's go over it. This is going to be your key to ranking up in the game. This is going to be the best ban list, meaning these characters you want to ban if you want to actually climb. For starters, I want to go over this tier over here, which is no one plays these characters anyways. There's no OTP, Mr. Fantastic, OTP, Johnny. They just don't exist, alright? I'll be real with you guys. I have not seen anyone play these characters at all at a very, very high level to the point where they couldn't play something else if you happen to ban it. It's basically kind of a waste of a ban. There is very, very few people that even play these characters in general. They're just simply too difficult or too niche to really recommend you guys to actually ban these. So keep in mind, I'm trying to go over this list for your average-ish player. I have peaked at 201 playing specifically tank, and then on my flex account is in Celestial at the moment. But anyways, no one really plays these characters. If you want to climb up though, I mean, these characters are just not really seeing too much play anyways. Next up though, this is in the bad ban category, meaning that you really shouldn't be banning these. Even if it's like a one trick on some of these characters, they usually can play something else. There is something that they can maybe play that is similar, but I don't think that these are worthy of actually banning. So these would be Penny, Mantis, Thor, Psylocke, we got Adam, Iron Man, and Squirrel Girl. These are just really seen as kind of just pointless bans. I know before Iron Man was seeing a lot of banning, and that was kind of also due to Hulk, but they kind of toned down the bonus over there. But for the most part, I would say these are not characters where I would say that these are needing to be banned. Heck, I love seeing an Adam Warlock in the enemy team. I feel like that character is mega omega throw, especially at the lower ranks of the game. I'm talking like Diamond to maybe like GM. I would still say that he's just not a good character overall because you can reset. Now at the super high level, yes, I understand he can, you know, delete people pretty fast as far as the time to kill, but remember, that's unrealistic. People are showing off, guys, look how fast Adam Warlock can kill in this situation where the bot is holding perfectly still and I can charge up a full right click. Like, so can Zenyatta in Overwatch, but it's not like Zenyatta is a must ban every single time. Back when Overwatch actually did have a ban thing. But nonetheless, these characters, I actually, for a lot of times, I like seeing an Adam Warlock or like a Iron Man on the team because I can just lock in a character that's better and dunk on him. The next category over here, this is actually very interesting. If they have a bad player on the team that played any one of these characters. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say that you just lost and you're like, oh, that was the Punisher from last game. He was on our team and he went 2-25. For some reason, there are a lot of players that can only play like these three characters. I don't know what is with it, but these three in general, like these players that go Moon Knight and go 2-25, they just stick on the character. It's kind of the same thing with Spider-Man, but Spider-Man's actually not a bad ban if they have like a really good player that plays them. But for the most part, a lot of times the players that really suck at the game, they can only play Punisher, Moon Knight, and Rocket. I don't know what's up with this, but if you ban those characters, the players cease to actually function. Like, it is such a free game if there's a bad player that plays one of these and you get him as a opposite player on the enemy team. I don't know what is with it, but those are the three like easiest characters, especially with Punishers just sitting on their turret. I don't know what is with them, but like they do not turn around. Especially even at like Diamond, I've seen the worst players are always Rocket and Punisher. I'm not saying the characters are bad. Punisher is actually a pretty good character, but I'm just saying if they have a person that can only play these characters, man, it is the freest game if you ban their character because they can't translate that skill into anything else, especially with Rocket. That character, yeah, like if you ban a person that's a OTP Rocket, it's a free win. Anyways, next up, these I know that they're kind of separate. I put actual good bans, but I actually feel like Loki's kind of in another category, which I want to talk about. But these are like actually good bans. If you know you don't know what to ban and like you're not playing them and your teammates aren't playing them, these are actually good bans. Things like Cloak and Dagger, because they get their ult so fast. I understand Magneto can just one-shot them, but like the character in general is still really good. In a good player's hand, especially if you play towards the top 500, Cloak can just delete a lot of ultimates, which is very, very, very strong. But anyways, also want to mention Hela is still a very, very good character in the game. Probably one of the top tier DPS in the game to keep a lot of things in check. Also, like Storm is a pretty good character, but a good Hela will shut down any of the flyers. It's just one of the best characters right now in the game in terms of like your duelist, your DPS. But then also I want to mention that Luna is still one of the top tier supports in the game or strategists, and the reason why is you're able to not only be able to have your ult last longer than anyone else's, but if you combo with other people's ultimates, you can swap to Luna's damage boosting ability and it makes things much, much easier. So the next character is Groot, and Groot is really good specifically against any of the like teams that would want to dive. You can actually deny a lot of space with Groot, and Groot is so good because he can actually burst through a lot of ultimates. At a lot of high level play, you'll see Groot stick their ultimate to certain areas where you would drag people off of an ultimate. Like if a Cloak and Dagger pops ult, you drag them away from it. A good Groot player can absolutely carry the game. Same thing with like the Thing is pretty good too. This is one of the stronger ultimates as far as like in the tank category goes. Really, really good character. Now Loki is kind of interesting because at the high level they ban him quite frequently, but at the lower levels I would say that he's not actually the greatest ban, but it depends on your rank for this character. So like I want to say most people at the lower ranks pretty much don't play Loki, but at the higher ranks is actually like not a bad ban at all, just because like you can have a lot more situations where you can choose the right ult for whatever situation calls for it. Magneto and Doctor Strange are pretty much one of the two better tanks in the game. Like Groot is very strong too, and the Thing can be very good, but I feel like the two tanks that are very good in like the Diamond up until like you get into like Celestial, I feel like these characters are just so good in combo with each other. Or if you have to solo tank, which let's be real, if you are flexing, this is one of the most common situations where you're stuck with only one tank. These two characters are very, very strong picks, and they just work so well with each other. They just deny so much. And on top of that, Magneto is probably one of the best tanks in the game. If you want to solo carry games, I feel like a good Magneto player can absolutely carry a game super hard. The bubble in combination with other teammates' ultimates is just so powerful. Or if you want to get rid of like an enemy cloak or protect your cloak, this is just like a really very big thing that turns the tide of a lot of the fights when there is a support that pops their ult. If you have a Magneto on your team or the enemy has one, whoever gets that Cloak and Dagger, this is like a specific like matchup kind of dependent thing, and Cloak and Dagger is just really popular character, but this matchup over here is so heavily favored to whoever has the Magneto will usually win as long as they land their stuff. But same thing with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is very, very good. I mean, he has an ultimate that can still absolutely just win a team fight, and I can't say that for the most part with a lot of the other tanks. Like you look at like other tanks like Venom, you need combos to like give you that damage boost, like either Rocket or something, to really make it good. But he's still not a bad ban at all. Again, it depends on what your team wants to actually do. And then also Invis Woman. This is actually kind of something that a lot of people may have started to notice, is that ultimate is incredibly powerful. And the reason why it is so dang strong is simply due to, obviously they can't see it, but it slows you down to the point where like it can secure a team fight, like win, off of just popping that ultimate. And on top of the character is really good on very specific maps where you can push people off. Very fantastic. And then obviously if you are playing like against a Black Panther or a Spider-Man, Namor is just so dang good. Or even like Magic, this character kind of keeps some of those characters in check, and it's a good ban if you like play Spider-Man, or again Spider-Man, Magic, Black Panther, heck, even like Iron Fist. But let's be real, it's not a really good ban. But Namor is just a really good character that will shut down certain other characters, and so he's a really good character to ban if you play those. And it is sort of the flankers. For Starlord's ultimate is actually pretty dang good, and that's the reason why I would say you'd ban him in the first place. This character is very, very strong for its ultimate, but it's still not a bad character in general.
I mean, it's alright, like...
They have a really good Starlord that can actually carry a game pretty hard. Same thing with Storm, but Storm, again, at the higher levels of the play, I don't see her banned as often, and that's because, well, the hell is just going to dunk on them. But I would say if you're just getting into like Diamond, this character is really good to actually like ban. The reason why is because, well, maybe some people don't have the coordination to actually aim to take down Storm, but like I don't feel like Storm is so OP, because even though the ultimate, let's be real, it is very, very strong, at the higher levels it gets countered pretty hard. I mean, you can use a lot of the other ultimates just to delete it really, really fast. Like for example, like a Punisher ult can absolutely delete Storm ult. You can do things with Psylocke as well. And like again, a lot of the flyers lose value towards, if you start going into like Celestial, I would say that Storm loses out on a lot of value, because again, Hela just dunks on any of the flying characters or any of the slower characters in the game. Anyways, next up, this is where I put it in situational. So meaning that like these are kind of characters that I would consider if the enemy only has like, a person that just plays these characters, they really don't have sometimes the ability to actually swap off these characters, or these characters are just so good if they actually can pull it off. Like Hawkeye, surprisingly, is still very, very good. It's not very common that you'll see like a really good Hawkeye, but as you start climbing up, even Black Widows, there are good Black Widows, but most of the time Black Widow, let's be real, they end up swapping to something else. But as far as situationals or like one-trick ponies, I'd say Hawkeye. Hulk is very, very strong as well, especially if you can combo it up with certain other compositions. Like if a Venom like is there with the Hulk, it's not even like a team up, it's just like the team composition of like Hulk, Spider-Man, Venom. They just like dive your backline. If the backline is dead, well, you probably could be losing the game because support OP in the game. But yeah, I would say for sure, as far as like situational bans, these are all great if they happen to have like a one-trick player that only plays these. Or like sometimes what happens a lot of times is like if it's a strategist player and they really hated dealing with someone that is playing Venom and like Hulk, they're just constantly getting dove. If you don't help your support, you're just simply going to lose the game. That's the reality of just any team-based video game. You gotta actually try to peel, but sometimes it's much harder because there are characters like Spider-Man that like, it doesn't matter if you have a name, or if someone's a really good Spider-Man, especially at the higher ranks of the game, they're just going to dunk on your backline so fast that you're not going to be able to have the time to react to actually get rid of them. So I would still say that for sure, these are all fantastic bans. Especially, I've always thought Captain America was like a pretty weak character, but like sometimes people focus Captain America too hard, and that's how he gets value. He's sitting there in like the backline just attacking the strategist constantly, and then people will complain. And he actually has a very fast TTK. Surprisingly, his TTK is actually the same as Iron Fist with the buff, which is crazy because they've been buffing this character quite a bit slowly. And a good Captain America can absolutely hard carry a game, not by just limbs, but by just simply distracting the team. But again, a lot of these characters come down to like flankers, and again, if someone only plays these characters, they're probably going to be good with them. And if they get banned, then yeah, they might not be able to play other things. There's specifically times where like it's like Spider-Man, but yeah, these are all like great situational bans. Black Panther is honestly pretty hard to play at the higher ranks, so like, yo, if someone can be good with Black Panther, I almost respect it to the point where like, you know what, he could probably play anything, because that character is really hard to secure kills with, especially towards the higher ranks of the game. But anyways, next up over here, I feel like these are throw bans, as in like you are literally like throwing the game if you're wasting your ban if you ban any of these characters. I think these characters, if the enemy team is playing them, I always see it as a free win. Now, if your teammates want to select them, just let them play the character. They're probably going to be bad at other things. It almost reminds me of like the Moon Knight, Punisher, Rocket players. Like if there's a Rocket on your team that's like selecting it, he's hovering over it, and then you ban Rocket, dude, you're just, again, kind of throwing in a sense. But those characters over there, if you ban like Jeff, like no one bans. These are all like troll bans. Like, let's be honest here. Yeah, you're basically throwing if you are banning those. And then here's my absolute must ban over here. That is going to be Wolverine and Bucky, Winter Soldier. I ban these characters every single time that I can. And the reason why is these characters right here will absolutely solo carry a game by them existing. So again, Winter Soldier absolutely can hard carry it. There's very few times where like the Winter Soldier's popping off and their team still loses. Obviously, that can still happen in any hero shooter team-based game, but specifically that character is just, in my personal opinion, one of the top tier characters in the game, period. Wolverine's kind of here in a different category, because if he successfully pulls off the tank, it's so much harder to actually win without a tank. And the thing is that most time, like, your tank player is one of the most important players. Look at the Moon Knight over there. I swear, the Moon Knight players, they're just looking, they're dialed in on their Ankh, probably typing in, complaining about their team. But nonetheless, the Wolverine will absolutely hard carry your games, because if the tank is gone, it's just so much harder to be able to gain space. So these characters are ones that will definitely kind of swing your like game in one direction or another. But that's all I wanted to go ahead and go for, and just going over a quick little recap of everything here. This is what I think are the best things to actually ban right now in the game. If you guys have any other suggestions, or you think that we should move characters, the one character that I kind of want to move is Loki, because again, at the highest rank, Loki is actually like pretty good, but at the same time, I actually don't really ban Loki that often. But if someone wants to ban him, again, at the higher ranks, it's like, yeah, sure, we can ban him, because it is kind of annoying if you are playing like, let's say, a dive. Like if you're like, our team composition, we want to go and dive, and then like, Loki's there, it's a little bit harder to successfully pull it off. And then also there are certain times where like, I really like playing Psylocke. I know she's not like the toppest of tiers of characters, but I really like Psylocke, and I really hate playing against Loki. So there's been times where like, let's just ban Loki, because I want to lock in Psylocke, but like no one really bans Psylocke anyways. But there are definitely counters to certain things in the game, and yeah, Loki, the clones, they definitely wreck Psylocke's ult. But that's going to be it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn the bell if you want to see the other best list in the future. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one, and I'm signing out. Peace.